Camera setup. Let's hear your camera setup. I want to know that one for sure.
Yeah, so I'm rocking the Canon R5 most of the time right
A
now.
lot of good colors in that one, dude. I've heard.
Yeah, I love it. Had it
Color
for a
grade.
couple years.
Have you?
And yeah, I also had the R6 too, so I'd kind of use both of them at the same time.
Right.
And they both freaking do great. What are you running?
I got the Sony A7 III. I'm kind of obsessed with Sony. I don't
Nice.
know. One of my buddies who does a lot of camera stuff kind of got me on the Sony grind. And then
Yeah?
for this coming season, I got the A7 III, and I'm also going to get the A7 IV because I'm going to hook that up to my. I got a 200 to 600 millimeter lens. That's what I like using for like longer pictures or slow motion shots, and that thing will be able to do 4K 60. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Nice, dude.
It's going to be incredible.
That's sick.
Yeah, man.
Have you used that long lens very much?
I have, and I am obsessed with it. Like by far my favorite purchase I've had for camera equipment so far. It's incredible, incredible. And I'm also going to get the. They make a 1.4 teleconverter and also a two
Yeah.
times teleconverter. But I've heard from a lot of people that the two times just kind of gives a little bit of distortion and kind of makes the image not as good. So I'm going to go with the 1.4 on top of the internal zoom in the camera and whatnot. And I think it's going to be legit. I'm pretty pumped.
Nice. That's sick.
Yeah, man.
That's a sweet lens. Sweet
I know
setup.
it's incredible. I love it, especially for bear hunting. It's my favorite
Yeah.
hunting there is. So getting those longer shots out there and poking those bears is just going to be a blast this year.
Nice. That's cool. How was
Yeah.
last season for bears for you?
Oh man, we're gonna get into it right away, huh? So
Let's do it.
last year was actually my first year hunting bears. I'd hunted it one time the year prior, but that's just something I never grew up doing, and I just kind of learned to love it myself. And now I can confidently say it is my 100% favorite animal to hunt. I don't care. I haven't hunted everything yet, so far bear is by far my favorite to hunt here. And it started off good actually. The first week we had some snow here in Montana, so I just did a little bit of turkey hunting with my buddies. And then me and my dad went out to this new spot, kind enough by the landowner to let us go out there. And first 10 minutes we get up there, like light was just popping up. We weren't expecting to see much, like, bears come out later, that's what everyone says. And from this year, my experience is like, I still believe that's true. But I saw more bears early in the morning than I think I've seen my whole life. It was incredible. And this for the first 2 or 3 minutes we were looking at it, we thought it was a grizzly bear. Like it was a big cinnamon. He
Wow.
almost had that lump to him. We were like, I cannot tell if that is a grizz or if that is a black bear. And then he kind of turned and you could see the small ears and not as round of a head. And by that time, I think the wind switched on us and we didn't even end up getting a shot. I was too busy getting my camera on it. And my dad was pretty upset about that. He loves the camera stuff. He loves that we film everything now, but he was like, if you didn't have that camera gear, you probably would have killed that bear. And he's probably right. But to me, it's like I'm trying to make a living out of this. Either I get it on film and we get the bear or we don't get it. And that's just kind of how it is, the rough reality of trying to be a man in the industry. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Like you got to sacrifice sometimes
You have
to
to.
get the shot to make it
You
happen.
have to.
So,
And I mean, you might miss opportunities on animals, but it's like at what cost are you gonna kill something and not have the content for it? Because a lot of things nowadays are people love the kill shots. And I mean, if you don't have, I hate saying this, but if you don't, unless you have a good fan base and they like you, they love the content. But if you're trying to start out, like that's kind of what I'm doing right now is trying to get my name out there. And if you don't have the kill shot or if you don't have a lot of good quality content of animals, you're just not going to get the views. And that's just the harsh reality of what today's industry is.
yeah. No, it's true. People are freaking brutal on YouTube if you don't have kill shots,
Oh,
you know.
and they'll say something about it too. I
Oh yeah.
mean, even when you get bigger, like I look through all the other guys, like higher people in the industry, they say like, this is your job and you're not getting the shot, or this is your job. You do this year round and you're not going out of your way to make sure you get it on film, which I mean, some part of it is right, but also like people need to remember that we are hunters first. Like that is why we started doing the content anyway. And I think that people need to understand, although, yeah, it's our job, so to speak, there's not a lot of people out there that are going to let the animal go. And unfortunately, I am one of them. So if I don't get it on film, I'm not shooting, man. That's just how it is for me personally. And my dad doesn't like it. My little brothers don't like it, but I got to get the shot on film.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get pretty good at it once you know, you know how it is. Like,
Oh,
you can get
absolutely.
freaking quick at setting everything up and getting
Absolutely. And
right
that's
on
another
it.
funny thing. I'll bring this up real quick and then I'll finish talking about the bear season. We were
Yeah.
I wasn't able to go on a mule deer hunt this year. Well, I went a couple times, but this specific hunt, my dad and my little brother went out on a hunt, and he only had his mag view and the spotting scope because I had my camera with me. And they ended up almost getting on a buck there. And he said, Joey, like, I give you and every other filmer so much respect for how you keep your composure and get the camera and get everything set up before stuff starts getting crazy. Cause he's like, I couldn't even get my phone on my mag view. Like, I was too hyped up getting everything wrapped around. And I was like, if you don't film and you don't actually get out there and bring a camera, even a phone nowadays, like the phone does the same thing. If you don't have a phone out camera and you really don't understand, like, it's difficult. And a lot of the time, people that are like these high quality videos we're seeing, they have a filmer too. So like they're not worried about hunting, they're not worried about anything, they're just filming. But some of us, like, I know you try to do the same thing as well, I'm pretty sure. Like, you are filming your stuff as well as, like, if you have someone filming with you, like, it's difficult to try and get that on film and to not spook something off, so to speak, or be too loud at the equipment and maybe not get set up in time and the animal gets off or gets away. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother level that you add on to the difficulty of hunting.
Yeah. People don't understand everything that goes into it.
Not at
Like,
all. And then they go in the comments and they start hating on it, and
exactly.
it's never going to go away, but it's all right.
No.
So yeah, to keep elaborating on the bear season, I mean, I busted my butt. Me and a good friend of mine, Gabe Walsh, he's kind of my hunting buddy. We went super super hard, and I think we saw close to probably 22 bears on the season. And I saw, that was just me and him together, I saw probably close to 30. And we started pretty hard. We hunt western Montana, and the first trip we went out on, it was super slow. It was still pretty early, and we ended up packing it. We had a camp for 6 days, and we went in there heavy. Started dumping rain one night. That was when we were setting up camp, so we just stayed in that night. And the next morning it started snowing, but it was like that wet snow, and you don't want to be in that. So we ended up just glassing that whole morning. Hiked up and over to see the backside of the south facing, and nothing all morning. And then that evening, everything was slow, so we were actually packing out. And on the way down, there was a bear that had just peeked over the top. And I'm not kidding you, probably 2 minutes before, my buddy Gabe, he's like, man, all these videos we see or people in stories you hear talk about bears coming over right when you're headed out of camp. Why can't something like that happen to us? And not 2 minutes later, I'm walking, just cruising down. And Gabe, like the whole trip, we've been messing with each other. Oh, bear, there's something there. What is that right there? All trip. And we're heading down, and Gabe taps me and goes, there's a bear right there, dude. I'm like, dude, stop. Like, I'm not in the mood. I'm packing out a heavy pack right now. I don't want anything to do with your jokes. He's like, dude, I'm serious. There's a bear right there. Sure as heck, like 600 yards away. There's just small. It was probably a sow. It was pretty small, but she was on her way down, just cruising, picking up rocks, feeding in the bushes and whatnot. I'm like, holy crap. Like, good opportunity. It was cross canyon. We weren't, like, the wind was not bad, but it was definitely ripping a little bit to where we didn't have to be super, super quiet. And we get down there. We actually had another one of my buddies with me. He got the camera set up on Gabe. I got the big lens on the bear, and he was building a 7 PRC in the process of this hunt, and he didn't quite have it ready yet. So he had his .6 out there, and just for a little farther shot, I mean, you know how those bullets can carry pretty good in the wind. And we get down there, get set up pretty good. He was about 420, and Gabe dials his scope. I get the camera on it. We all say we're good. Everything's good. And right as Gabe's starting to squeeze, the first time it moves right away, and like you can hear it in the videos, like, holy crap, I almost just shot. Kind of moves off a little bit. She starts like going right, worked up, and stops, kind of like facing up over this next rock. Gabe lets it rip and hits like probably 8 inches to the right, 9 inches to the right. Missed the bear, went up another 10 feet. He shoots again, misses like 3 inches right. And that bear ended up getting out of there. But he said, dude, that second shot, like, I was holding off the bear completely, and it still missed like 4 or 5 inches to the right from what he was aiming at
Dang.
before. I know. So that's unfortunate. Ended up getting out of there. And then we went to the spot that was just incredible. Just a nice, open, it was super timbery, so they got places to go during the day, and then in the evening they just feed out to this big green opening, and we ended up seeing probably close to 8 bears in there. Never did get a shot because we definitely could have shot a couple small bears this year, but I just think like we really wanted to get a tank, and that's just that's our mindset for bears is if they're small, they're gonna be bigger next year. Like, and their patterns are so the same thing that if you just keep letting them get bigger every year, I mean, there's gonna be big bears. So that we ended up passing a couple, and then later in the season, I just went a lot by myself, kind of closer to home because the trips where we went out west are pretty far of Montana, and then later in the season, I found a pretty dang good spot, and I think it's where I'm going to be going a lot this year. Ended up seeing probably 4 or 5 bears in there, and it was late season. And this big old, it was probably the second out of the hunt with my buddy Devin Lorenz. We were down there probably close to 500 yards. And this is kind of a story it sucks talking about it because it just brings back the memories of how you could have fixed it when you're talking about it. Big old cinnamon walks out 500 yards, like on the dot, 502, 503, whatever. Dev gets the camera on it, and I lay the rifle down, and I'm laying on this, there's rock that kind of goes like this, and I'm behind it, and I'm trying to aim, but my bipod was like falling down into this root. I was right next to a tree, and the root was so deep, and the rock was like shelled against me. So it was falling through, and I was getting pissed trying to get it on, get my backpack under my armpit, moving around. And I finally like find something, and I was like, poof, and it set perfectly. I was like, oh, dude, perfect. Like, it's a good rest. I'll just say now, little did I know my barrel was on the rock. So the barrel was on the rock. I had no idea. I had my GoPro set up on me. In the film that I posted, you can see, I made sure that you can see my barrel is like completely resting on the rock, and the bipod is like this far off the ground. And I had no idea. So dialed the 500 on my scope, range it again, stops perfectly. Devin was trying to get like on the bear, and he couldn't even find it. We had a little piss match with each other back and forth for a little bit. I was like, dude, get on the bear. Like, it's right there on the right side of the tree. He finally gets on it, and I let one rip. Had no idea where I hit. Dev said, dude, I have no clue. The bear just stood there, picked its head up, looked around, kept feeding. So I was like, okay, if he didn't even flinch, like, it's got to be like pushing at least 10 feet away each way. So I crank another one in, and I'm just like, how? Like, I felt perfect. Surprise shot, breathed through my shot, everything. And shot again, missed. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I feel perfect. I'm not jerking, nothing. And he ends up kind of feeding around a little bit more, didn't even move, came down again. He gave me a third shot, missed again. Meanwhile, the whole time my barrel's resting on this rock, and I had no idea. And it's not like it was just barely resting on it. Like, I was a kind of a downhill, so I was putting a lot of pressure on that barrel. And he ended up getting out of there, whatever. We ended up watching the film back. I was hitting 20 feet high. And on the third shot, even, I dialed back to 0, checked my dope again, and went back to exactly what it was supposed to be because I don't want to miss this shot again. And I was hitting about 15 to 20 feet high, just putting that kind of pressure on the barrel.
Dang,
That's crazy. It was horrible. And I was like, okay, is it my gun? Because 20 feet's a little outrageous. Like, there's no way. The bear ended up busting out of there, whatever. The canyon was already blown up anyway. So I picked a rock at like 710 or something, just hammered it. And I was like, that's just insane. So yeah, big lesson learned, I think, for sure, for that day. Always make sure, no matter even if you don't know, check the barrel, make sure you're not leaning on something, because it screwed me this year. I could have had a big old cinnamon boar, and I didn't even get a bear this year. So it's hard one for sure. But yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, don't put your barrel on a rock, or don't put it on anything, man. Leave it free floating. That's how she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. How was your bear season? I saw you got a nice bear, Logan. So let's hear the story about that, brother.
Yeah, dude, it's a good bear. I mean, there's a whole film out on it and stuff. So
I'll have to go watch it. I didn't even
all the stories up there.
Know that.
Yeah, but it was good. I mean, it was like the third day of our hunt, and we cruised up this one canyon, found a bear, but it wasn't quite what we were looking for. And we ended up, it was like a decent bear. We tried shooting it at like 700 yards, but for some reason the gun was like off, like bad. I don't know what it was. So we went back down and like resighted everything, just made sure it was good. And it was a little bit off, but it wasn't like that far off. So it was just like, all right, we were already like way back in there. So we just decided like close shots only, right? We're just
You're
not
right.
going to take any long shots. Which the crazy thing is, I had shot the gun a bunch, even like a long ways before this point. So whatever. But we hiked up a different canyon, found another bear like that night, and I smoked it at 300 yards. And that was day 3 of 7 days, and we hunted for 5 more days or 4 more days. And my buddy killed one on the last day, and
Dude. So did you
it
pack
was
that
fun.
bear out and then head back up and kill that next bear? Or did you just hang meat and
We hung meat and then packed it all out. We packed one bear all the way out the
Mhm.
day before the last day, and then went back in the last day just to try and get something. And then
And
we
it
ended up
paid
killing it.
off?
It paid off. Yeah. So
That's awesome, dude.
it's fun, dude. I love it. Bear hunting's super fun.
I see, and I have so many people tell me like, "Oh, it's so boring. All you do is sit there. It's not fun." And I beg to differ because it's like if you're elk hunting during the rut September, you have constant like you're always in it. You know, you're always
Yeah.
adrenaline's high, high, high. Same with mule deer. You're stalking a mule deer. You're seeing mule deer, whatever. But bear hunting, it's like it's not boring to me because you know that feeling right when you see a bear after not seeing anything for a while just is magnified because you're so down in the dumps. It's like, gosh, dude, like where are these bears at? Boom, bear. And I just feel like
Yeah.
that like level of being super pumped to spot something you don't see very much is, to me personally, is more exciting than anything I've done.
Yeah. Well, you found a bunch of them. It sounds like you said you saw like
Oh,
3 bears.
this season, so I'll kind of plop the plan out for this year is I got a
Yeah.
good buddy of mine, Wyatt Fisher, over in Oregon. They hunt bears big time over there. And I'm going to go hunt Oregon bear with him. Even if I don't draw the tag, he's going to transfer me his tag. So I'll be able to go hunt Oregon no matter what. And then Idaho and Montana. And then it's kind of sounded like I'm also going to Canada for a spring bear hunt as
Oh,
well. So I'm
nice.
potentially we could get 4 bears this spring, which would kind of set off the season pretty good. So I'm pretty jacked up about that.
That's good. You going
Yeah.
with the outfitter in Canada?
Yeah, I'm going with a company I work with, and
Oh, nice.
they just kind of surprised me with a invitation to it. So I'm pretty pumped up, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I went up there in high school and shot a bear up in Canada. So
They said be ready to pass up bears. I'm like, oh,
yeah, there's
like,
some
all right,
giants up
you're gonna be seeing a lot. If you want to be picky, be picky. I'm like, okay. It's towards the end of May, so I'm hoping that I have a couple down at least before that, or at least all
Nice.
3. I don't know. It'll be crazy if we can get all 4 down. That'd be a godsend. It'd be a lot of
That'd be
cool content, I
insane.
think, to be coming out. Yeah.
That's cool. All rifle hunts?
No, the one in Canada is going to be archery,
Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean
but
you'll
I
be on the
don't.
bait.
Yeah, it'll be pretty fun. I'm pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
But the thing, I don't. You know, I grew up rifle hunting. Like I didn't start archery hunting
Yeah.
until probably I think 3 years ago, and all I do now. Like if I have a chance, unless it's like, all right, we gotta get something down. Like I'll hunt with my bow during rifle season because I just love it so much. I mean, obviously, if like I haven't seen anything in a while and opportunities are getting slim, I'm not gonna bring the bow. I'm gonna bring my rifle because I do.
Yeah.
It's in my blood. Like my grandpa never bow hunted. My dad didn't really bow hunt much, and yeah, I definitely an archery hunter, and I just love it so much. But there's something about rifle hunting a bear is just canyon punchers, just lob them out there. It's fun. I love it.
It's fun, dude.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I'm gonna 100% bring the bow for bear hunt this year. So
Are you
just
really?
full send it. Yeah, might
Dude,
as well.
do it, dude. See, I'm like so on the edge to do that, but
Yeah.
where one of the places I do hunt, it is so like the canyon is just, I mean, it's like this, and you can,
Yeah.
when you get on that south facing slope, you cannot see anything. Like the brush is 15 feet high, and it's just splotchy timber up top, big timber at the very top, and then it's just that bare brush all around the whole thing. And it's like you are not going to be able to spot a bear if you're on that side. So I mean, even if I do glass them from the north facing slope, I still have to go all the way down and all the way back up to get where they're at. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
just so difficult. I mean, if there's some other places that I'm sure I'm going to go, especially in Idaho. Like I know you can bait in Idaho too. And I think that if I don't end up, because we got a plan, we kind of have a plan to where we kind of want to plop over back and forth, Montana, Idaho. We got a couple places we might try and do that. But if the
Nice.
Idaho one doesn't work out, I got a buddy that lives there. We might see if I can go bait another one. So potentially I could do 2 rifle and 2 archery if I want to try and shoot one in Idaho with my bow, which I think would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of before I use my bow, got to kill the first bear first. I just want to get one on the ground, get things rolling, and then we'll start ripping the bow out and trying to get it. But kudos to you, brother. I hope you get one with your bow because that would just be an incredible film.
I do too. I mean, I got 7 days already planned out for the season, so
good.
I feel like I could do it in 7 days. So
I think you can. And if it's not like the same scenario where it's like you can't see nothing, like even if that is the way that you're going to hunt it, there is a possibility. There 100% is. If you can just
always
bust crap down there, rip back up, and just get downwind. I mean, dude, yeah, it can happen.
We'll see.
It definitely can happen. You're hyping me up even talking about it, man. I love it.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Well, let's kind of switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about your career, how you got into it. Like, why do you want to do this? Just what was your path up to here?
Yeah, for sure. So I think that ever since I was a kid, I have always, like, even when I was in middle school, elementary school, whatever, people would ask me what I want to do. And I said, I want to be a hunter. Like I used to say, I want to be a hunter. They're like, well, be a little more realistic. I'm like, I want to be a hunter. You know what I mean? And I mean, even my buddies now which as success is coming to me, praise God, I keep getting my friends text me like, you're still doing it. Like, dude, keep it up. Like you've been saying this since we were in elementary school, middle school, like keep at it, keep after it. Like that means more to me than a lot of compliments that I get from people just because it has been my dream forever. And I got videos of me with my cousin fake shooting. Like we were sneaking up on a rabbit and I have a little bow with the field point tip on it. And we're sneaking up on a rabbit and he's filming behind me and like just making like little stuff like that, just pretending like we're on the outdoor channel. So that's always been like in my mindset, like I want to hunt for a living. And excuse me. So it really didn't, like that's obviously what I wanted to do. And then I got into sports and I wanted to go to college to play football. And then that whole, I want to go to the NFL, but like that's unrealistic completely. So I ended up going to play college football at the University of Montana just for a semester. And I hunted 3 times that whole fall. I was like, this is not for me. 100% not for me. And so I dropped out after the first semester and I've been chasing it ever since. I started out just posting videos of me shooting my bow. And I would just ask some companies, you just reach out like, hey, if you guys have some content that you want me to like send me some stuff and I'll make for you, I'm more than happy to do that for you. Like obviously I don't have a great following, but I just want to get my name out there and start working with some companies, start creating some relationships. And it started paying off. And then Scree Gear is the company that I work for, the camo company, who I'm making my way up with pretty good, I think. Reached out to me, started talking to me about a contract for the rest of 2024. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So they ended up, fortunate enough, they sent me a lot of good gear. I did some reviews on it, created a good relationship. And that kind of went through until just this last year. And this year, I can't really say much about the contract. I think I'll get in trouble, but moral of the story, it's very, very good this year. And I just feel very blessed. And I think that Scree definitely is the biggest company that took a shot on me. And it's now paying off, I think, for us on both sides. So, I mean, ever since I was probably 6 or 7 years old, I knew that I wanted to have a career in the industry, and it's slowly paying off. And I was just so pumped and happy to finally be here. You know what I mean?
That's cool, dude. Yeah, I love it. I mean, I kind of similar. Like I always loved hunting and knew I wanted to do something
right
with it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's pretty fun.
It is.
So
it's just
talk about just for people who like, if people are at that point where they're like, this is what I want to do, how do I get there? Talk about that journey, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, it really comes down to like consistency, and I'm still working on it. Like consistency.
Yeah.
If you really want to like get out there and like make it quick, you have to be consistent. Like without consistency, I was just talking to my friend on the phone last night about it. She's a good friend of mine. And I was like, if you want to, she just got a brand new camera, whole setup. I'm like, okay, now you have the setup. You have to be consistent. Without consistency, it will not work. That's how algorithm works. Like if you start posting a lot, it'll go good, right? And then you stop and you got to just start growing again because it'll just drop your profile right off. And so anyone out there that really wants to take a shot at the industry, really wants to, invest of money, time, effort into it, you have to get the right setup. You have to get, and nowadays the right setup is an iPhone or a smartphone. I mean, you got 4K on your iPhone that's in your pocket all the time. All you need to do potentially is get one of these mics or anything like that. I know one my brothers got from the TikTok shop for like $8, and they plugged it into their phones and it sounds insane. I'm like, anybody can do it. So, I mean, if you really want to, you can with the stuff you have. And if you just stay consistent and just post what you're doing. Like I know a lot of these hunters are shooting their bows year round, shooting guns year round, talking about things. And all it takes is for you to do that same thing. Watch a couple YouTube videos, learn how to work YouTube, learn how to work YouTube shorts or Instagram reels. And all you got to do is just start posting consistently, and things will start making their way. Like they'll change like for the better.
Yeah. I love it, dude. That's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been working on that recently. Last couple months, I've been posting on Instagram like a reel and a photo every day, and I've gained like 10% or like 110%, whatever. It's like I've gained 10% of my followers. So I went from like 450 to now I'm at 550. So it's like 1,000 followers,
dude, and
it's quite a bit.
Yeah, they always say the first 10,000 are the hardest to get because a lot of people will go, they'll look at the profile and like, oh, like followers are huge. Like I don't know how to say it, but if you go to someone's account and you see, wow, they almost have as much followers as me. Like whatever, they're nothing crazy. And I hate saying that, but it's just what it comes down to. With me, I only have like not even 3,000 followers yet. But don't let that discourage you from making your way up, because I've been so blessed and fortunate with the companies that have reached out to me and I'm working with now, and I don't even have a crazy following yet. I'm just making that content for them or with them, and it's still working out for the better. So, I mean, if people are listening, don't let that discourage you if you don't have a lot of followers at first, because that first 10,000 is really hard to get. And then once you get to 10,000, it'll gradually start growing a lot quicker.
Yeah, you're right. And like you're saying, like you're doing a lot of work for other companies, and that's one of the big things too, is like if you don't have a following yourself, just work for other people, because you'll build the skills and the knowledge to build that following for yourself in the future.
Exactly.
Just work at it, it's going to come. But that's how you can kind of pay the bills, is working for other people, getting that content.
Exactly. Because I mean, then you're also not just that, but you're also now creating a good relationship with a company that probably has a way better following than you do. And the more you work for them, the more better relationship you get them, the more your name is going to get out there as well. And not me saying go use a company for their followers, but you create a good relationship with them. You're going to be helping them. They're going to be helping you the same way.
For sure. Yeah. I love it, dude. That's good.
Yeah.
What's the kind of future plans? What do you have going on for, like, what's your goals with this?
My goal is to be able to pay all my bills hunting year round. That is my absolute goal. And I think a lot of people in the industry, that's your goal. Excuse me. And I just think that I want to be able to get an invitation for a hunt and not be like, oh, dude, I just, I can't, I got work, or I can't, man, I just can't, I don't have the funds. I want to be able to go whenever I want, hunt wherever I want, and just leave the real world behind. Not even the real world, because I want my real world to be hunting. Like I just want it to be, I want my life to revolve around it. I want a family. I want a family to love doing it. I want a wife that allows me to do it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a big one. Is
absolutely.
The wife, because
absolutely.
Yep. They'll really, if you have a good wife, they'll support you.
We can touch on that a little bit, actually, if you don't mind. Sure. I just think like that is your other half. If your other half, this is for people that are really wanting to like get into it in the industry. If you are holding up because of your spouse, you need to have a real conversation, because I think she's your other half he or she is your other half. And if they truly see how much you love it and you want to pursue it, I believe that your spouse like should support you. And I'm not saying leave your wife or husband for months at a time, but there needs to be a happy medium, because if you really want to pursue it and you love it as much as you say and you do, I think that the support of your wife or husband can change the complete outcome of how good you can be in the industry. And I truly do believe that.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like my wife is super supportive. She might not like me being gone for so long, which is fine. I
And that'll
mean,
never change. That will
no.
never change. If you love somebody, yeah, it's going to suck that they're gone. But then
Yeah,
there's a sense of happiness in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, I love him or I love her, but he's doing or she is doing what they love, and that makes me happy. And that's really what that support that you need in a relationship.
absolutely. Yeah. That's
But
good.
yeah, sorry to little rabbit holes, dude. I'm bad about it. I think this whole podcast I will just be rabbit holing down, but I'll climb back up slowly. It'll just take me a second.
No, dude, you're good. I mean, it makes my job easy. Like we just keep going and I love
Right.
it. So
Right.
yeah, dude. Um how about editing? What's your process? What do you use?
So I use DaVinci Resolve.
Okay. Me too.
All last year, brother, I used CapCut Pro.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to say this too. If you are new and you want to start making videos, CapCut is 1000% the easiest to learn and the most user friendly. Because let me tell you what, I just posted an archery antelope video, and that was the first time I used DaVinci. Oh, did I have like 4 aneurysms because I didn't know what was what. There's like different steps. But now that I've watched probably close to 10 hours of YouTube videos, I'm thinking I know it pretty darn good. And if you get the right setup, in the link in the bottom, like, I mean, not link, excuse me, the tabs in the bottom, if you truly follow those tabs, it makes editing like so much quicker and so much easier. And DaVinci personally, I think is the best, I'll say one of the best editing softwares out there. And it's free. That's another thing, because a
Yeah.
lot of these softwares are like $150 a month or for lifetime, whatever. And DaVinci is free, and the versatility that software has is just incredible.
Yeah.
That's what I use. So I'll kind of, for the antelope video, I just put every clip on the timeline and then I went through it. And I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again.
Really?
And then I like organized it. What I'll do now, okay, let's put it this way. I had 2 cameras. So I had one
Okay.
SD card and another SD card. So I think next time I need to sort them out, because then they were just mixed up on the import side. And that really messed me up when I was going through the timeline, because then I have to go and find the clip that's way farther down. But really, in the hunt, it should match this one, but it's not. So that's partially my fault for not separating the SD cards, or at least in a folder in my Finder. But I always, after I started figuring that out, I'd click the clip, drag it in, edit it how I wanted it to, click the clip, drag it in, and it takes a little bit extra time. But for me personally, I do like that a little bit better. And
Yeah.
then it's clipping it up how like the duration of the clip, right? You want the duration of the clip, whatever you want to be left in or left out. And then I just do that for the entire video to get that completely out of the way. And then obviously, then I'll start adding, then I'll go sound effects. And I didn't do a lot in this last video, but I just purchased a new artlist.io for music
Yep.
and sound effects. I like that one. I know there's better
Nice.
ones out there, but for the price, I mean, that's another thing, is they get expensive, dude. Some sound
Oh
effects.
yeah.
And so then I do some sound effects just here and there to make it, I mean, it just makes it more cinematic, you know what I mean? Get some sound effects in there, and then I'll throw the music on from where I want it, and then I'll clip up the clip again, because you want some of the transitions, you want some of the things that are happening in the video to be on beat. Like, it doesn't matter all the time, but it definitely gives it that extra, I think, cinematic feel to it when the music is matching the video. And then I'll do that there. And then you got the Fusion tab, which is in DaVinci. And that's where I did the voiceovers and fix the audio levels to make sure they were perfect. You want to keep it at that, what is it, -10, I think, for
Yep.
all the nerds that are in here that know what we're talking about. -10 for the audio level. Make sure it's all in that same, because, I mean, you're using the same mic the whole time, but there's whispering. There's when you're talking louder, you don't want something to be higher and lower. Because I know I've watched videos where I'm turning the volume up and down the entire time because parts are quiet and then parts are loud. You just want to make sure it's at that happy medium the entire time. So that's another part of the Fusion tab. And then color grading. Oh, brother. I filmed that antelope hunt in S-Log because I was
Nice.
experimenting with it. And I love how it turned out. I do love it. And it's very
Good.
easy when you have this Rec 709 LUT. It makes things a lot easier. But I just think if you have an 8-bit or a 10-bit camera, the color is more than enough fine if you're just filming hunt. If you want to film something cinematic and it's like you want to go in depth with how you're going to edit everything, yeah, do S-Log because it just grabs so much more information and you can do so much more with it. But oh my gosh, dude, for an entire hunt to just go through and do that much for every single clip was
Yeah.
probably the worst thing I've done. And I thank God that I did not film the rest of the year on S-Log. I filmed the rec on, or the rest on just a regular, did some settings to my picture profile. But oh man, that was just brutal. And I will not do that again. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, some things in S-Log look incredible. Like
Right.
I'm not saying S-Log is bad. I'll probably use it again because now I know how to do it, but I'm just not going to do the whole hunt because that was just brutal. Just brutal. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my rundown of ripping through editing. I'm sure there's some little things I left out, but it's just kind of the main things that I go through.
Well, that's perfect.
So
I'm pretty
you
much the
said you use
same.
DaVinci as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will say there's one thing that might help you when you put your clips in the timeline, and this is something you have to think about maybe before you even shoot, but on all of your cameras is setting date and time, because then what you can do is when you import them into DaVinci, you can sort them by date and time. So even if you shot on two different cameras, they all match up. Then you
Yeah.
can put it all in the timeline and they're all in order.
And they're all see. I'll call you after this or something after the
Yeah.
call and we'll figure that out because I 100% need that, bro. Because I
It makes it
now,
easy, dude.
especially when I get the A7 IV, like I have the A7 III right now, and when I get the A7 IV, like I'm obviously gonna have two different cameras in there, and I don't want to have to do that again. I think it's just gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I can show you how to do
Yeah,
it. It's
thanks,
pretty
brother.
easy, but
Perfect.
the biggest thing with that, if anyone listening wants to do it, is make sure all of your cameras, even your GoPro and like your big cameras, are all set to the same time.
Right,
Otherwise, they'll be
right,
a little funky, right? So,
right.
anyways, yeah, dude.
Perfect. Well, that'll help for also if you throw up the time that you wake up or the date of it. I'm always
True.
like, crap, what time was that? Or crap, what was the date again? I can't remember. And I'm always going through onto my camera and like going through the settings, seeing when the click was taken. That could potentially save a lot of ache, I guess you could say, during the editing part when you're
Yeah.
adding that video.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And that's good, dude. And yeah, dude, S-Log, I mean I do C-Log, but they're the same thing
Yeah,
basically. And then editing that sometimes is tough, but with time I've just it just comes like way more natural. You just know what you need to
absolutely.
adjust and
And here I am pouting about it. I know that if I worked harder on it and really like took some time to pump it out, I know I could, but it's just
yeah, well
personally
I don't always shoot in log either. Sometimes I'm
right,
just like I don't even want to deal with it, so I'm
right.
not
And
going to.
that's after I did it that first time and I edited. So the reason I actually planned on filming the whole season in log, and I edited right after that antelope hunt. I went home and edited like a teaser for it, and that was at the beginning of the video. And that's when I really was like, oh my gosh, dude, like this is brutal. And I'm glad I did because that was summer right before I went to Nebraska. And I was like, thank God.
Yeah,
Thank God I did because
good.
then at least I wasn't very good with color grading and I would not have been able to do it.
Yeah, nice, dude.
Yeah, man.
Well, dude, this is good. It's been about 40 minutes. We can wrap it up. Where can people
Yeah.
find you?
Well, I got Instagram. I think that's where I post my favorite high quality stuff at Joey Viss. And then on YouTube, Visser Ventures Outdoors. It's kind of my thing. That's kind of my channel. I'm actually working on some merch right now, kind of waiting for my
Nice.
following to start growing a little bit more before I drop that. But I got the website created and I got some like what do you want to say? some trial stuff floating around that I've ordered, and I wear it sometimes in my stuff. But yeah, Visser Ventures Outdoors for YouTube, or just Joey Visser. Instagram is at Joey Viss. And then TikTok, same thing, at Joey Viss. And yeah, Instagram and YouTube are by far, like, I focus the most on those. TikTok,
Nice. Yeah.
I need to start posting on it more because it's the easiest to go viral on, but I just don't
Yeah.
like it. I just not a big fan of TikTok. And I get 90% of the stuff I post, it gets taken down anyway. So it's like, why
Yeah.
why
TikTok's
bother?
rough, dude.
It's rough. But yeah, man, I
Yeah.
appreciate you inviting me onto the podcast, and I had a good time. And we'll be in touch. Maybe we can get together this year and try and figure out a time to go film something, or get on a hunt here in Montana or
Yeah.
Idaho. I think we should for sure.
Yeah. We'll
At
try it.
least
We'll try to make
bears.
something happen.
At least bears, because I know I could get you on a Montana bear, and it's over the counter.
Yeah.
So
Oh, there you go, dude. There you go.
yeah, man, good
Cool,
deal.
dude. Well, we'll stay on in chat, but we'll finish up right now. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you guys next week.